Hey everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and with me as always is Scribe. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
The lovely SDA is with us as well. Say hello.
Hi.
And I may have been a bad boy today.
Oh, how were you a bad boy?
Fucking with vegans. They're so easy to piss off. We'll get to that in YouTube time. But how's everybody else today? Everybody have a good day?
I'm good.
I had a chocolate milkshake.
Oh, nice. I prefer vanilla myself, but I can see the allure.
I
You're
like
not kinky.
strawberry.
You're obviously not kinky enough. And together we are Neapolitan.
Neapolitan. There's our band name, Neapolitan.
Neapolitan.
Oh, man. So, Scribe, what's going on in the news?
Well, not a whole hell of a lot. CNN is dwelling continuously on the what if there are tapes of Trump talking to Comey. They're still dwelling on this. This is their headline right now. Are there tapes? I mean, they can't even talk about news they have like evidence for or something to report on. No, it's just speculation on drama that may or may not ever come to fruition.
CNN is literally Keemstar.
Now, CNN is literally BuzzFeed or
TMZ.
TMZ at this point. Yeah,
call them, yeah.
Yeah, TMZ, Gawker, whatever. They've adopted part of their model as clickbait city, and that's it. So, but we do have some news. We have some things that are interesting that happened today. We've talked previously about the situation in Qatar, where a story about Qatar and Iran being buddy-buddy suddenly out of nowhere decided to make itself known, and thus Qatar was ostracized by the rest of the Middle East.
Yes.
Well, something happened that really doesn't help Qatar's reputation in this regard. Iran sends planes stuffed with food to Qatar.
Oh.
5 Iranian planes filled with food have landed at Doha Airport as the blockade against Qatar by Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries starts to bite. Iran said the planes were filled with vegetables and that it plans to send 100 tons of fresh fruit and legumes every day to the import-dependent nation, according to the semi-official Tasnim news agency. Quote, so far, 5 planes carrying vegetables have been sent to Qatar, each carrying around 90 tons of cargo, while another plane will be sent today. Iran Air spokesman Sharok Naushalbadi told the Agence France Presse news agency Sunday, we will continue deliveries as long as there is demand. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Egypt cut links with Qatar last Monday, accusing Doha of supporting and financing terrorism in the Middle East and elsewhere, a charge Qatar denies. Separately, Iran is preparing to send a flotilla of warships, first to Oman and then later to international waters north of the Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden, Tasnim reported. The agency said the fleet was dispatched as part of Iran's commitments to fight international piracy and did not mention tensions with Arab countries involving the spat with Qatar. This is shaping up to be very grim.
I told you, man, the thing with Qatar is the one that really made me go, wow, things are even more fucked up than I thought over there.
Yeah, I'm surprised this isn't a bigger story, honestly, because this chain of dominoes is falling really quickly. I mean, like within a week, we've had the ostracization of an entire country on the basis of information that presumably has been around a while, if it was true at all. Mm-hmm. And now Iran is openly supporting Qatar when the whole fracas was based around the fact that Qatar was so buddy-buddy with Iran, and that made them an enemy. This is weird. This is just weird.
Thank you, Serenity Lotus. Hey, nice break from E3. Bethesda conference soon. Cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I would love to go to an E3 just once, just to look around.
I did grab an... I brought up the stream, and I heard you saying the exact same thing over and over again, and I was like, I shouldn't talk because Monkey's talking. No, wait, that's what he was just saying. I have one story from E3 that I'll get to in a minute.
Okay, before we go any further, guys, if you smash that like button, it would really help us out. Appreciate it.
Also, if you click the little dollar sign in the bottom left-hand corner of the chat, you can give the monkey money. And
also,
then that money will immediately go to the Grand Monkey.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies, and we already talked about the like button. So there you go.
Yes. Yeah, so the Middle East is a shit show and getting worse. What else is going on?
So the other thing that I don't think we talked about previously was the series of anti-Sharia protests going around the country the last day or two.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't talk about those. I did see that they were happening on Twitter, though.
Yeah. So let's see. Protesters who gathered on Saturday to denounce Islamic law were met across the country with equally sized or larger counter protests. Now, I want to sort of repeat that sentiment for a second. People protesting Islamic law, Sharia, which is one of the most oppressive, authoritarian, yucky sets of legal religious practices you can imagine. The kind of laws that say you have
words, and then you just went with yucky.
Well, see, SDA, that's how I roll, because I try to play to all spectrums of our audience.
Okay, sassy pants, continue.
I'm not Ben Sassy. Anyway, so people were protesting against a set of laws that would see homosexuals murdered because they are homosexual, or people who commit infidelity stoned to death, and so on and so on. I just want to make sure that's clear before we continue with this story.
Yeah.
Organizers called the March Against Sharia rallies to protest what they say is the threat to U.S. society posed by the set of traditional Muslim practices, which they say includes oppression of women, honor killings, homophobic violence, female genital mutilation, and other abuses, which they are not incorrect in saying so. But reports and pictures show large counter-protests around the country, with activists accusing the anti-Sharia marchers of racism and Islamophobia. You know what? If Sharia law and the tenets therein and what they prescribe for certain transgressions makes me Islamophobic, I think there's a reason for it. It's because those things are barbaric.
Yeah. I'm not Islamophobic.
No.
I hate Islam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate Muslims. I mean, there's some nice Muslim people. Islam is shit. I just say Islam is shit. You guys can quote me on that.
I also hate Islam. Islam can go suck a big fat dick.
I'm not in favor of any of the Abrahamic religions in general, because the core values of the Abrahamic religions are separation, segregation, murder, genocide, and so on and so on. Any fundamentalist of any of the Abrahamic religions is not someone who can operate in accordance with modern Western civilization. It's just not.
I think the biggest difference, though, is that there aren't a ton of fundamentalist Christians or Jews left, at least in the West.
Yeah, the big distinction that I think Sam Harris and I'm sure Hitchens talked about before was in contrast to Christianity, the core figure in Christianity is essentially a peacenik hippie, whereas the core figure in Islam is a genocidal warlord who likes taking child brides. So even though you could say these religions all sort of, originate from similar texts and stories and things like that, it really does come down to what is the core message of Christianity. Christianity is, love thy neighbor. There's enough there that you can sort of offset the yucky stuff. I said yucky again. And still call yourself a Christian.
Well, especially in modern times, where that's pretty much like the dominant form of Christianity is a reformed, updated version that kind of fits with
it's secularized.
Society.
Yeah, it's secularized.
By Jesus standards, Christianity is just not the same as what it used to be.
No, it's
unless
not.
You are in very fundamentalist church, which those are few and far between.
Well, yeah, it's like the Westboro Baptist Church is bad, but like they've got about 30 inbred fuckers in there, and that's about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you compare that to fundamentalist Islam, where they still hate gay people and still want to do bad things to women, and they still want Sharia law, even in the West, big fucking difference.
Real quick, I'd like to say thank you to Sanguine. Said, but Scribe, to make a bigger story, people would have to not talk about trying to find a way to impeach Trump. And thank you, Sir Adamantine. It just said, hi, monkey. Thanks, guys.
Let's see. Right. I mean, there's CNN, and I don't know. I could go on for hours about how disappointing. I mean, I remember CNN when it came out big and tall during the Gulf War. I mean, that was like, that was revolutionary to me as a kid because, prior to that, wars were things you heard about after the fact.
Yep.
You just didn't. It was like newsreel footage and like here's some videotape from behind some concrete barrier of some guy with a rocket launcher that happened in Beirut 3 days ago or something. When CNN broke the mold and had live coverage from inside a war zone as it was happening and real world changing type stuff, they had quality. They really did have quality broadcasting for years. They were like the gold standard, even up through 9/11. It was just like you couldn't go anywhere else for better coverage of things. And then it's just all taken a downturn. And I don't want to get all like sentimental or sappy about it or something, but when I was growing up, I really did have an appreciation for journalists and the sort of Edward R. Murrow sort of ethic of it all, even though I wasn't alive for Edward R. Murrow, but I mean, his influence and seeing like, the most trusted name in news. What was that guy's name? Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite, I had a videotape of his covering the moon landing. And there was just something about Walter Cronkite's delivery and his sort of integrity that always made me think that, this is what news is supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to have when you're talking about relaying information to people, not sugarcoating it, just this is the way it is. And now we've got bullshit, just bullshit every day. And I see it more now by reading the news every day than I usually had. So anyway, I could go on, but let's go back to Sharia law because that's more entertaining. Let's see. Sharia is a legal or philosophical code derived from Islamic scripture and meant to guide the behavior of observant Muslims. Religious experts say it's similar to parts of Christian and Jewish customs. Similar, yes. The rallies were held in about 24 cities and in about 20 states. They were organized by the conservative group Act for America, which the Southern Poverty Law Center calls, quote, the largest grassroots anti-Muslim group in America, claiming 280,000 members and over 1,000 chapters. The organization describes itself as the NRA of national security.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, well, that's an interesting way of putting it, I guess. Let's see. Quote, I feel like we need to make a stand now before Sharia makes more inroads. Protester Shannon Boloney, maybe, told WAB reporter Adihi Bandlamodi. Okay. I've always been, for women's rights. Let's see. Bologna was among a small group of demonstrators who gathered in Atlanta's Piedmont Park. The Los Angeles Times reports they were met by a small gaggle of counter-protesters who held up placards and shouted, no hate, no fear, Muslims are welcome here. Sorry.
No, I'm sighing. That's all. Keep going.
A few miles away, other Atlantans held a counter-protest and food drive. Asma El-Huni of the Georgia chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations criticized the anti-Sharia protesters. Quote,
oh shit, this happened in Atlanta?
Yes.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Quote, if they're against Sharia, are you against feeding the poor? Are you against being friendly, showing love? Because essentially that is Sharia, she told them. Jesus Christ.
No, it's really not.
Sharia is love. Sharia is friendly. Sharia is feeding the poor. That's what you're against if you're against Sharia, because Sharia is a law of peace.
Oh,
in Syracuse, New York, March Against Sharia organizer Lisa Joseph told North County Public Radio's Brian Mann that she put the rally together because she and others are, quote, against female genital mutilation, honor killings, throwing gays off buildings, and stoning people to death. You know what? I'm against all of those things too. I guess I'm a racist. That was me talking, not the story.
No, I'm with you.
Counter-protesters in Syracuse responded by shouting, shame, 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 and described the opposing demonstration as anti-Muslim bigotry.
I'm okay with that.
No, I'm not, because anytime that they start talking about how moderate Muslims can be, they always say they don't support Sharia law. You can't sit there and shame people for having a protest against Sharia specifically and just call it bigoted against Muslims, unless you're saying all Muslims are for that.
Right.
Just I make the separation. You need to as well.
Yeah, you're essentially stereotyping all Muslims on the basis of your counter protest against people saying that throwing gay people off of buildings is bad.
Yes.
I mean, I really I
When
love
did that
this.
become the wrong thing to say?
I don't. This is so. I was saying this to somebody the other day. I feel like I'm living in a cartoon. I feel like I'm living in a cartoon or some kind of like Sliders episode. Remember Sliders?
Yes.
Donald Trump is president of the United States. Every day there is a terrorist attack somewhere, like I said before, out of like a 90s movie. And now people are protesting against the idea that killing people on the basis of them being gay or honor killings or cutting up women's genitals is a bad thing. I cannot, and this is happening in America. This isn't happening in some kind of like, third world country or something else. This is happening in the supposedly enlightened Western civilization. It boggles my mind. And that's putting it lightly. I can't come up with a phrase that quite expresses
retarded.
how, yeah, it is. It's, Let's see. On the other side of the country, several dozen anti-Sharia protesters gathered at Seattle's City Hall, according to the Associated Press. But the AP reports that, quote, hundreds of counter-protesters marched through downtown Seattle behind a large sign saying, quote, Seattle stands with our Muslim neighbors. In Chicago, about 30 people demonstrated against Islamic law and in favor of President Trump, but twice as many counter-protesters shouted back, the Wire Services report. Each side boasted about 150 to 175 people in a protest and counter-protest in Denver, according to the Denver Post. 4 arrests were made there. In Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, about 60 anti-Sharia protesters were separated from the same number of counter-protesters. Quote, this is a march against Sharia, not Muslims, Stephen R. Moore of Washington County, Pennsylvania, told the Washington Post. We are not affiliated with any extremist groups. Sharia is a barbaric system that the Islamic State is trying to impose on our country. Several counter-protesters were anti-fascist or Antifa activists who dressed in black masks and hoods. I love how the good guys are in black masks and hoods, chanting, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. Similar. Yes, go ahead.
I hate their little chant because it doesn't flow like it should.
Yeah. Because white people don't have rhythm.
Exactly. And fucking white people.
All right. Jesus. Similar protests and counter-protests also happened in St. Paul, Minnesota, where authorities arrested several people when scuffles broke out. And scuffles. And New York City, where, I love this poster. Oh my God, this picture of New York City where the protest is. On the far side, somebody's holding up a Kekistani flag.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna send the link out. It's about 3/4 of the way down the article. I'll put the link up in the chat. I just love that that's there. Despite the concern, Sharia has no chance of being imposed in the U.S. in the foreseeable future. Quote, it's like the 10 Commandments for Muslims. It's nothing to be enforced upon anyone. Now, hold on. There are honor killings in America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, as far as I know, we haven't seen any stonings yet or gay people thrown off of buildings. But there are communities, especially in the UK, where Sharia courts are an active thing.
Yeah.
Now, the US currently might be an exception to that. But if it's happening in the UK, if you can have communities that are gathering around this ideology and holding Islamic Sharia courts of their own making, and they're not being stopped or corralled or anything else, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before someone decides that they're going to hold their own Sharia court. And let's say that the matter at hand is nothing that's deadly. Okay, they're just imposing Islamic law on something relatively, and I mean relatively innocuous in their community.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody finds out about it, and then they're like, "You can't do that," and then they'll be like, "You're oppressing us. You're being racist against our religion. We can handle our own problems. This has nothing to do with American law. This is all personal." It's going to be what they call mission creep. Like slowly over time, something's going to happen. If it's not opposed, is what I mean. I mean, if you don't do something about it. And so everything else aside, protesting against a set of laws that include executing people for who they are. What?
It's racist.
Yes, it's racist.
Remember, Islamophobia is racist. Fucking Anita Sarkeesian.
And to wrap it up, according to the Pew Research Center, the U.S. has a population that is only 0.9% Muslim. And Liaquat Takim, a professor of Islamic studies at McMaster University, told the AP that the vast majority of U.S. Muslims oppose implementing Sharia in the U.S. Then there's the Constitution, which states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Again, this is true, but look at the UK. You know, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. It just means that the laws do not endorse it. But I'm just waiting for the time where someone or some group decides to try to practice this in their own community, absent all the really controversial rulings that Sharia could bring down, and then see what happens when someone complains and see how many people come out in defense of that sort of thin edge of the wedge Sharia implementation somewhere.
Yeah. I'm waiting for somebody to do something like that here and like kill a gay guy.
Yeah.
What are these fuckers going to do? Stand up and say it's Islamophobic to say that's not okay?
Right.
And yes, the First Amendment says that the Congress can't make laws regarding the establishment of a religion or the free exercise thereof. However, we have already done that. We've had people thrown in jail because of the way they've treated their children, or their children have died, and they say, oh, well, it was a religious thing. You can't pull that. You still have to be within the laws of the land.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, it's a thing. The conflict there is that Congress shall make no law. However, if your religion infringes upon the rights of someone else against their safety or whim, that doesn't somehow, you're not protected when you do that. So a child being harmed by someone else's religious practices, even if it's their parents, you don't get a pass in doing that and endangering somebody else's life because your religious practices, you can't impose that on somebody else. I can believe whatever I want. I can practice whatever I want. The moment at which it either, as they say, breaks my leg or picks my pocket, that's when it becomes a different matter than just your expression of religion. Yeah,
exactly.
Because super churches, they get audited all the time by the IRS, and it's like, you're committing fraud.
Yep, indeed.
So as far as other stories, I don't really have anything. I do have, for those of you that are E3 interested, apparently the Microsoft has announced their next console.
Ooh.
The Microsoft announces Xbox One X.
What?
You can't come up with better names for these things. I mean, Genesis, I don't know, Jaguar, the Lynx. I mean, come up with something cool. Just stop adding, just like Xbox One XIIIVT or something. Okay, but anyway, Microsoft announces Xbox One X will be $499.
Of course.
Yeah. Microsoft's next console, a codename Project Scorpio. Project. I think of Scorpio from The Simpsons. Yeah. Mr. Scorpio, like Hank Scorpio. Will be called Xbox One X. The company said today it will be out on November 7th worldwide and cost $499 US, aka $500. The big buzzwords are true 4K, and Microsoft is touting Xbox One X's higher resolution. It'll support all previous Xbox One games and accessories. Oh, backwards compatibility? Wow. Only they've done that with Xbox 360 and Xbox One.
Didn't have to be shamed into it this time?
I guess not. But of course, it's only the recent stuff and not the classics. And Microsoft says the X will allow current Xbox One games to look better than they do on standard consoles. I guess if your TV can handle it.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up because true 4K is only going to help you if you have a 4K TV.
Right. So how much are you going to spend on your 4K TV? How much do 4K TVs cost now? I don't even know.
Oh, I haven't even priced them.
Yeah. Speaking on stage during the company's E3 presser today, Microsoft rattled off a list of hardware specs, telling fans that it will be the, quote, smallest Xbox ever, despite its power. This is the system you asked us to build, the company said. First-party games, as well as recent third-party games like Final Fantasy 15, God, there are 15 of those things, and Ghost Recon Wildlands will get updates on Xbox One X. Microsoft said, you'll probably have a large library of titles that you own today that will automatically get better on Xbox One X.
No, they won't get better. They're going to get prettier.
By a hair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, yeah. You can, there's a point at which you can't get graphics to look any better. There's just only so much sharpness you can get. There is a ceiling. And we are, if we're not already there, we are quickly approaching the ceiling of how sharp, how realistic you can make graphics look, up until the point at which you get to uncanny valley territory and you can't tell the difference between life and computer generated or whatever.
I refuse to buy any more consoles until they name one Bitch Slayer. I don't want Xbox One X. I want the Bitch Slayer. That is one of the most awkward console names ever. You want your console? Okay, Xbox. It's one word. It's very quick. It's snappy. You're done. Xbox One. Xbox One seems like it should be the first one, not the second one. It's like you call World War II World War One after the First World War. Like what? No. It's actually the third.
Yeah, and who thought that was a good idea? Just name it something cool. Name it like, Cunt Puncher or something.
Yes, I would play the Cunt Puncher.
Mm-hmm. Everybody would be playing the CP, yo.
I would have extra controllers for the Cunt Puncher.
Yeah, Microsoft CP. And everybody would like, what's the CP stand for? Cunt Puncher.
Sanguine, thank you. Monkey had already happened. It was Pulse, and we were told we were racist for when we pointed it out, talking about the Sharia thing. Yeah, absolutely. Remember, Obama had to go back to the Crusades on that one. And Zenith, I managed to get the second most popular comment on Pro Jared's EA E3 video. Cool.
Congratulations. The second most popular. You're number 2. Wait, that sounds really bad. That sounds really bad. No, don't be number 2. That's all the stories I have, really. I'm going to go to MSS if we don't have anything else to talk about.
No, I have nothing else. So let's jump in there. And guys, if you want to send us a story that we may or may not get to, you can do that at #MSS News. And we do appreciate those because we do need them often. And don't forget to hit that like button.
Let's see.
And give Monkey money.
And give Monkey money.
Ooh, Xbox Monkey Dick. I like it.
Xbox Monkey Dick.
I think Cunt Puncher rolls off the tongue a little bit better, but I could get into Monkey Dick.
No, Microsoft Plunger.
The Microsoft Plunger.
I'd play the Plunger. Wouldn't you play the Plunger?
We don't talk about Assassin's Creed until after YouTube stuff, okay? Okay.
Okay. This one comes from staff reporter C. Bernier.
Wow.
Because we have 2 staff reporters now.
Yes.
Let's see. Chelsea Market Basket Manager. Chelsea Market Basket. What's that? Is that like a food store or something? We don't have those here. But anyway, Chelsea Market Basket Manager kicks the shit out of an employee for quitting on his shift, tells him he ain't getting his green card, so Chelsea, it hurts. What?
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, it's a video. It's not a story. Oh, wait a sec. No. Okay, here's what some people saw grocery shopping today in Chelsea. All right, this is a Facebook post, so it's not. Here we go. How sad that a manager from Market Basket in Chelsea, Massachusetts, I think it is. Or wait, okay, I'm showing my ignorance of the state abbreviations. MA is
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay. How sad that a manager from Market Basket in Chelsea, Massachusetts would fight with his employee while speaking to one of the cashier employees. She said that the manager, Renee, would treat his employees and customers badly, and this kid received the worst of it. The employee took his work apron off to leave because he had had enough, and what happened next was uncalled for. Instead of holding back Renee, the manager from fighting the employee, and all of this is someone's writing. I'm reading it as it's written. From fighting the employee, all of the managers jump on top of the boy, pinning him down to the floor. Then Renee starts kicking him and grabs the employee by the pants and pulls them down to his knees. All the while, the employee is pinned down on the floor, unable to move or defend himself. Then the other workers move Renee away, but a few seconds later let him go, and then Renee takes off his coat, insinuating he wants to fight more. One of the other managers asks Renee to be quiet a few times, and at the end tell him to shut up. I can only express what all of us customers witnessed. Renee is a manager working there for 9 years. You don't disrespect, yet alone fight with your employees or customers. Well, and then there's the video of like this happening, and wow, this is just crazy. I see a lawsuit in the future because that's
Sweet.
bullshit. Okay, well, interesting. Let's see.
Sometimes these stories have no morals. They're just interesting. I can't find a moral to that story.
Another, well, here's another one that probably doesn't have a moral to it, I guess. Another from our staff reporter, C. Bernier. Woman makes boyfriend vomit as she sneaks dead tarantula into his toast.
Oh, gross. I don't want to no.
Okay, all right. There's a video of it.
I think that's enough of the story.
Yeah. What else we got? We have a Florida man story. This comes to us from Sam Briggs. Arm yourself. This is war, Florida sheriff declares after Orlando mass shooting. Okay. Was there a mass shooting in Florida? Am I forgetting something now? This is how often they happen now. I can't remember. A Florida sheriff.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Wasn't there one just a few days ago?
I don't know. Like so many people die, and
I know. Okay.
There was the one, just like 3 or 4 days ago.
Oh, right. This is where the disgruntled employee thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
A Florida sheriff is calling on people to arm themselves in preparation for the next terrorist attack or workplace shooting. Brevard County Sheriff Wayne Ivey posted a 4-minute video on Facebook explaining why he believes residents need to carry weapons. The call to arms follows a mass shooting at a company in Orlando that left 5 people dead. Quote, folks, now more than ever is the time for our citizens to be prepared to serve as the first line of defense, not only for them, but for their families when the attack happens, Ivey said in the video. After calling himself, quote, one of the most politically incorrect sheriffs in the country, unquote. And by the way, the person reporting this put an apostrophe in sheriffs, as it's a plural, not possess. Anyway, moving on. He continued urging those who legally can carry a gun to do so. And he added, if you're uncomfortable with a gun, carry a taser. This is war, and you better be prepared to wage war to protect you, your family, and those around you if attacked, he said. Okay. And yeah, he looks like a Florida sheriff. But,
well, I can't disagree with him, but also isn't that what the police are for?
Yeah.
I don't mean to be, I understand. Yes. Protect yourself as well as you can. There's a lot of people that I don't think should be running around strapped. And that's not, I'm not against guns. I'm against stupid people. And there's a lot of them.
Okay. This is an interesting one. This is from Ronaldo Redskin.
Racist.
It does, but that's I read it as they wrote it. This is from the Daily Mail. Killing hatred with kindness. Black man has convinced 200 racists to abandon the KKK by making friends with them despite their prejudiced views. Good for him. Okay.
Aw, that's cute.
A black man has single-handedly caused more than 200 white racists to leave the Ku Klux Klan simply by confronting their prejudice with friendship. Inspirational Daryl Davis, 58, a blues musician. A blues magician, a blues magician would be awesome if you played the blues and also did magic. A blues musician, God damn it, musician and author, has traveled all over the U.S. since the early 1980s, actively seeking out and befriending members of the openly racist organization. The KKK is a white supremacy cult founded in 1865, organizing members to persecute people for the color of their skin or their religious beliefs. But Daryl Davis has been battling the hatred and answering a call he has felt since he was a young man when he decided to confront the ideology of the KKK head-on, one member at a time. He has since documented his incredible mission in the book Clandestine Relationships.
Nice.
A black man, thumbs up for the pun. Thumbs up.
Yes.
I'm a big pun fan. Good job. A Black Man's Odyssey in the Ku Klux Klan, which is set to be re-released with an updated version next year. I'd never heard of this before. Daryl from Chicago has also found time for a celebrated music career in R&B and blues, playing alongside the likes of Jerry Lee Lewis, Chuck Berry, and former President Bill Clinton. Daryl said, music absolutely played a massive role in bridging many gaps in the racial divides I would encounter. Once when I was performing in a predominantly white venue, a white man approached me on my break to put his arm around me and exclaimed, "This is the first time I've ever heard a black man play piano like Jerry Lee Lewis." I quickly enlightened him as the origin of Jerry Lee's music and told him that Jerry Lee had learned that style from black boogie woogie and blues piano players. The man did not. Yeah, exactly. The man did not believe me, despite the fact that I further told him that Jerry Lee was a good friend of mine and he had told me himself where he learned that style. But the gentleman was fascinated with the idea that a black man could play like that. He was curious and wanted to learn more about me. It was then revealed to me by him that he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Over time, he and I became good friends. He ended up leaving the KKK. Daryl said he is never unprepared for violence from those he meets, as any member he confronts can potentially be someone who would want to do him harm. In those rare cases, he said one of them ended up in the hospital and the other in jail.
He's not a small man.
No, he's a decently sized individual.
He could put a hurting on someone.
Yeah, he said, there have been some incidents in which I was threatened and a couple of instances where I had to physically fight. Fortunately, I won in both instances. These things happen from time to time, but it is to be expected because you are dealing with someone who hates you and wants to be violent just because of the color of your skin. Some of them are absolutely repulsed when they see a black person and want to hurt that person. At the core of it, although they won't admit it at first, they express superiority but feel inferiority, and in order to elevate themselves, they have to push someone else down. A meeting that could have ended up in violence was when Daryl met a Grand Dragon, a rank in the KKK in Maryland, a man called Roger Kelly.
Have you guys ever looked through the ranks of the KKK?
Yeah, there's like Grand Wizard and Grand Dragon and all the crazy.
It's like the best. It's like the coolest Dungeons and Dragons type thing. And it's just for a bunch of racists. It's like racist nerds or something.
Pretty much. Let's see. Daryl said, I was very well prepared for the meeting in terms of knowledge of my topic. I have just about every book written on the Klan, and I've read them all. In fact, I know more about the KKK than most Klan members know about their own organization. Knowledge, information, wit, and the way you disseminate these attributes can often prove to be a more disarming weapon against an enemy or some with whom your ideology is in conflict than violence or lethal weapons. I like Daryl.
Me too.
Daryl is a smart guy. I was heavily armed with those attributes. I had been told by someone who knew him very well that Roger Kelly would kill me. I felt confident without any physical weapon that I would prevail. Fortunately, I proved it true. In fact, Daryl said he was so successful in his prevailing that the KKK branch in Maryland is now non-existent, with perhaps 4 people turning up for a meeting and 2 of them are drunk. He said, it's a wonderful thing when you see a light bulb pop up in their heads or they call you and tell you they are quitting. I never set out to convert anyone in the Klan. I just set out to get an answer to my question, how can you hate me when you don't even know me? I love this story.
I do too.
I love everything about this story.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lemming. Have you ever had Australian dollary dues before? Not that I remember, but I do appreciate it.
Crikey.
No, stop it.
The story goes on for another couple of pages. I'm not going to read the rest of it, but yeah, I'll put the link in the chat because that I like this story.
Valenta Paxman just asked me if I hate Daryl. Who's Daryl?
Daryl's the subject of this story.
Oh.
Well, unless they're talking about a different Daryl. This is the first Daryl I mentioned, yeah.
Okay. No, I like this story. Why would I hate this story?
Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Do I do that one? Let's do this one. This comes from staff reporter Jack Cochran. Speaking of crikey, Kung Fu Soccer, Australia's only cane ball competition held in Canberra. and they got video of the kung fu soccer, and it's pretty much what you'd imagine. It's a sport that dates back more than 1,500 years and is hugely popular throughout much of Southeast Asia. Yet most people in Australia would have never heard of cane ball. Often consisting of acrobatic feats, the sport known as Chinlone in its origin country, Myanmar, sees players use only their feet to pass a rattan ball back and forth over a net. It's soccer volleyball. You can't use your hands. Holy cow. The sport is slowly growing in popularity in Australia as migrant and refugee communities import the game, and its only Australian competition arrived in Canberra this weekend. Isn't there there's a movie called like Kung Fu Soccer or something, isn't there?
I believe you, but I've never heard of it.
I thought there was, but anyway, yeah. Or no, Kung Fu. Maybe it was Kung Fu Hustle. That's what I'm thinking of. Kung Fu Hustle. That's a different movie. Well, interesting. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else, or is that all for? Okay. This involves something disturbing, but it's a fundraiser. So I'm going to read it, even though it's not fun, but it's for a good cause, and I'll put the link in the chat for those who are interested. Right now. Okay. This comes from Jack Cochran. Caston's Care. On May 15th, Caston Tyler Latham was flown to Primary Children's Hospital after he stopped breathing at daycare. The police nor the doctors have had any luck discovering the reason for this happening. They are still investigating. After 4 days, Caston woke up. After 5 days, he was breathing on his own. We were all very excited for about 1 day. The brain damage from going without oxygen is worse than we thought. Caston cried constantly for 3 days until they gave him muscle relaxers for his spasms from just laying in bed. Caston is confused and startled by noise easily. This is going to take months and possibly years to help him get to about 75% of where he was before this incident. Caston has a twin sister and a 5-year-old brother who are confused and miss him. His mother is a single mom who lost her job because they can't hold her position without knowing a date she might return. She has bravely sat and cried next to him for over a week. She has not left the hospital, she has not left the hospital, and her other children are with grandma and grandpa. The help she needs is to pay her car payment, insurance, and a few basic bills while she is helping Caston recover. So I put the link in the deal. They had a $4,000 goal. They're currently at $6,905. If you would like to donate to this, links in the chat. That's sad. I hope somebody didn't do something to the kid, if that's what the implication is, because that would be bad.
Well, when my middle child was 2 weeks old, I was sitting there holding him, and he stopped breathing.
Oh my God.
He ended up spending 2 weeks in the hospital for, he had RSV, which for you and me would just seem like a horrible cold, but to an infant can be deadly. And if I hadn't have been holding him when I was, we would have lost him.
Yeah.
So a story like this is just that one hits me. That link is actually in the description now too, guys.
Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that pops out to me. Okay. I'm going to look at this because it doesn't have a photo attached to it.
Why are you doing that? There were some super chats here. Terry Diamantis, thank you. Why can you guys never say Canberra properly? Did I
Yeah,
get
it's
it wrong?
Canberra.
Oh,
Canberra?
pardon me. I'm a damn Yankee. I apologize.
Well, why there's an E in there if it's Canberra? Why can't y'all spell it right for once?
I don't know. I mean, Bay got mad, and I'm Team Bay, so.
Can you pronounce words correctly? Because I can, bruh.
Nah, bruh. I pronounce shit how I want to.
It's just a joke, Canberra. Oh.
Nicely played.
So this last one comes from Eric the driver. This is a story that is a thing. Women are putting ground up wasp nests in their vaginas, and doctors want them to stop.
You take your earphones out. Let's talk about bees in the toilet.
Okay, here we go. It seems that some women will stop at nothing in their pursuit of holistic rejuvenation. Ground up wasp nests, also known as oak gall powder or manjakani, are being touted. Yeah, there you go, Manchik. Are being touted as the latest treatment to tighten the vagina and rid it of any odors. And doctors are concerned about their effects. No kidding. Sold on sites like Amazon and Etsy, oak galls, or oak apples, are the bulbous tree growths that result from wasps laying their larvae in branches.
Ew.
Because the tree regards the larvae as an irritant, it naturally creates a hard shell around it, and the little worms inside feed off the growth until they can break free. Some holistic practitioners believe that once the oak galls are ground up and mixed into a paste or boiled and used as a vaginal wash, their astringent properties will tighten and firm the muscles of the vagina and ultimately improve elasticity, according to popular science. But doctors like Yen Gunter, a Canadian-born gynecologist who practices in San Francisco, are eager to share the dangers of oak galls. In a recent blog post, Gunter explained that the pitfalls of engaging in the practice can range from mild to very hazardous. Quote, this product follows the same dangerous pathway of other traditional vaginal practices, meaning tightening and drying the vagina, which is both medically and sexually, for women anyway, undesirable, he writes. She writes. Okay. Jen Gunter. Drying the vaginal mucosa increases the risk of abrasions during sex and destroys the protective mucus layer. In addition to causing pain during sex, it can increase the risk of HIV transmission. This is far from what women should be placing in their vaginas. Yes. That's about all of that.
So basically, it gives you crusty twat.
Apparently so.
That's right. Just spit in it. It'll still work right.
When in doubt, spit in it.
That's right.
All right. I think that's newsy news for the day, unless something else pops up in the interim.
No, I think that's good. How about we get onto YouTube?
Okay.
Scribbles, did you make a video today?
I did after a fashion. I did a hour-long sort of ramble about the Doctor Strange film based on the recommendation of one of the viewers the other day. Said, would you do a video about Doctor Strange? I was like, sure, why not?
Lady Monkey made me miss that.
Okay. Well, it's
I'm
there.
You know,
it's there in perpetuity. I saw you post early on. You were like, you're the first poster.
Yes, and it played the whole time, so you got a view for it too. But I was off doing things that she needed me to do, so I apologize for missing it. But I will watch it.
It's there at I just go over some thoughts I have about the movie in context with not only the comic book origins and how they were portrayed in the movie, but the overall quality of the narrative itself in my mind, and also I thought more sort of overarchingly important the concept of magic in these shared universes. Because magic, and I say this in the video course, depending on how you arrange it, can either be very cool or quickly turn into Deus Ex Machina. Because if you don't put very specific rules on how magic operates in your world, it can get carried away real quick. And I kind of appreciated the fact that Marvel built up to introducing magic and the occult into their universe. They got close with Thor to a certain extent, and they even have a line in Thor where he says, what you think of as magic is just what science is where I come from, that kind of thing. And I also comment on the fact that when the Suicide Squad trailer came out originally, I saw that they introduced the character of the Enchantress. And it really kind of surprised me because so far at that point, they'd had Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Very science fiction-y and or down-to-earth-ish type characters and concepts. To throw a completely magical character in without any preamble really surprised me because, like I say, that magic is a dangerous kind of thing to introduce into your universe unless you've already really planned out what its limitations are, how it operates, and so on. And given Warner and DC's sort of cowboying nature with their properties, I hadn't imagined they had thought it through much. I'm still not sure how much Marvel has thought through how magic operates in their world because we've only had the one Doctor Strange movie, but we will see.
I just want to notice Pat for something he said a little while ago.
Hmm.
He said BJJs.
What?
You like vajayjay, but
Oh, yes.
BJJ.
BJJ.
And then he
BJJs.
said, now we know why BuzzFeed is so irritated. Wasp nest watches.
That's what
Where
the
the
buzz in
buzz comes
BuzzFeed
from.
comes from. Yeah.
I thought that's where you were. I thought that's what you were gonna say, Monkey. I was disappointed that you.
No, I did enjoy that comment too, but he had said that the other one before and
That's great.
made me laugh. Yeah, the JJ. SDA.
I didn't make any videos, but I did finish up the first part to the like Patreon series thing,
Mhm.
and the link to that is in the description.
All right.
So
Yes, it is.
if you want to read it, that's where it is.
And to see more of it, they have to become a Patreon supporter, right?
Yeah, or if you give money to me regularly through the live streams, because it's $5 a month on Patreon, but a lot of you already give me way more than that via Super Chat. So if you're one of those people and you want to read, like the future stuff that's paid, just shoot me a message either on Twitter or on Discord, and you can totally do that.
There was one thing I wanted to, it's not, I'm debating doing a video on this. Our friends at Islamic Pulse have put out a video that I've actually been looking forward to for a while, because about a month ago, they did a video on certain aspects of Islamic law, I think it was, or something like that. And they went over a whole bunch of different things that people think they understand about Islamic customs and stuff like that. But at the very end of that video, the guy mentions the practice of temporary marriage, which is an interesting one, because in the Islamic faith tradition, you can have a marriage that is contingent on a agreed upon time, like you're married for a certain amount of time, because sex outside of marriage is haram. So if you're going to have sex with a woman, you have to be married to her in the fundamentalist Islamic faith. But there's this thing, I forget what it's exactly called, but it's got a name.
Like these brothels where like they go get.
Well, that's the thing. And at the end of that video, he was very cagey about it and said, "That's something we'll talk about next time." And so they released that video today, and it is a whole bunch of. I mean, there's some historical stuff there. They explain like where in the Quran this is mentioned or how this all came about. They also talk about the abrogation principle of Islam. Do you know about this?
No.
So the abrogation principle in Islam, and I don't claim to be an expert on this, but essentially, the surahs or surahs in the Quran, basically the chapters and the verses and everything, while they are put in they're not put in chronological order. They're put in the order of length. So the longest ones are at the beginning, and the shortest ones are at the end. However, if they're put into chronological order, if there is a surah or story or declaration that occurs later in Muhammad's life than earlier, it supersedes that. So just as a stupid example, if when he was 12 years old, Muhammad said, stones are great for eating, and then when he was 35, he's like, stones are good for building things. No one would ever, the fundamentalists would say, well, okay, stones are good for building and not for eating. That's it. That's just the way it is. The old stuff doesn't matter because the new stuff supersedes it. They talk about that a little bit in this, but really what they're jumping around the entire time is the notion that you can have a temporary marriage simply for the sake of having sex. Like, you want to bone that girl, but you can't because it'd be against the Islamic law. So let's have a temporary contract. And I didn't get through all of it, but I was waiting for them to address the issue of brothels. Brothels in Islamic countries where you can go in, you can marry a girl for the 2 hours or whatever, and then have sex with her, and then start applying for a divorce shortly thereafter. I mean, it's like the epitome of hypocrisy with the whole like, oh, it's haram to have sex outside of marriage, but you can sort of, rent a wife for a couple hours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to do a video on it, because just as a standalone thing, if you just watch it, you can see sort of the hypocrisy and the contradictions of it all. But anybody who's a fan of my videos and has seen Islamic Pulse stuff, if you want to go check that out just for the sake of interest, there you go. But whatever.
Okay.
Monkey, which wasp's nest did you step in today?
Oh,
I was fucking with vegans today.
mm-hmm.
It started out with I finally decided to go ahead and finish my response to ask yourself, because it really bothers me that I hate bad logic. I hate faulty logic. And far too many people, when they think they've stumbled onto a really great talking point, refuse to let go of it. And his main talking point for why eating meat is immoral is because if there was something that is present in a cow that was present in a human, then you should be willing to eat the human if you're willing to eat the cow. It's fucking retarded. It's just fucking retarded. Because no matter what you do to a human, it's never gonna be a cow. It's just not. It's a human. They're different things. And he insists on what would be different? What has to be different? In order for me to not eat a cow, it would have to be a fucking person. And that's never gonna happen. So there's your answer. But then no bullshit was debating vegan gains on vegan gains' channel today. And I just stopped by the chat to shit post. If you guys have ever seen me in chat on somebody,
Oh, you are cancer.
I am. I
and
have a
it's
lot
great.
of fun. I have a lot of fun in there. And I knew it would be very easy to trigger these guys because they are so steeped.
Bless you.
Oh, yeah.
They are so steeped in wrecked culture. It's all wrecked. It's wrecked. All I had to do was just keep typing things about how Vegan Gains was getting his ass kicked, which, by the way, he actually was. No bullshit did a very good job of taking him down. If you watch the whole stream, well, I didn't see the whole stream. I missed like the last half hour. But Vegan Gains contradicts himself so often, it is just absolutely absurd. But yeah, I just kept typing into the chat, wow, Vegan just got owned, wrecked. Yeah, just all kinds of shit. And as fast as the chat was going, I'm surprised anybody was able to pay attention to it. But you know how when somebody mentions your name in chat, it lights up with the little bar there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My name would fucking just light up the whole screen. And I just sat here smiling because I'm a giant jackass.
I was about to say, how big was your ego inflated during that whole thing?
Oh my God, I was having so much fun. It was just so fucking stupid. But yeah, I've actually, if no bullshit doesn't do it, I'm going to take that stream and I'm just going to cut up the different parts of Dick. For you guys who don't know, me and Richard are real tight, and I'm allowed to call him Dick. So Dick, I'm going to take the parts where he directly contradicts himself and just put them all together in one long stream.
Are you saying that he contradicts himself?
He contradicts himself.
Oh,
you know the one that really set him off was when I said
funny.
Said that he just got ass raped so hard that cucumber will fit in sideways now. Yeah, they were not happy about that one, but it was fun. If you guys ever get a chance to see me in chat, just pay attention because I have a lot. I troll the shit out of things. I'm not the grown up you see on this show, and let's be honest, I'm not that much of a grown up here. In other YouTube news, there's also a little controversy brewing. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with this. Do you remember a couple weeks ago somebody asked us about Mr. Dapperton?
Who?
Yes, vaguely.
Somebody asked us about Mr. Dapperton and Nightmare Fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dapperton had released a video showing DMs.
Oh yeah, that Nightmare Fuel that was like a pedo or something.
Well, not a pedo. He just saying things he probably shouldn't say to a 15-year-old girl because apparently Nightmare Fuel's 21.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, because of all of this, there has been some back and forth doxing, and Mr. Dapperton today actually called I don't know if he did it today or last night, called the police on someone over it.
Whoa.
What the hell does he go by on here? I forget his name. Penguin something. Damn it. Trying to remember where I need to go to look this up, but there's a podcast that's done. I can't remember if it's daily, weekly. They call it the fake podcast, I think. And now I can't find it. Of course not. Keep talking while I look this up.
Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah,
Blah, blah,
blah,
blah,
blah. Blah. My favorite, so Mystery Science Theater, I forget what the movie was. I think it had to do with like biker gangs or something, but there's this one point where like the boss hog kind of character says to his minion, he says, I have one thing to say, and it is this. And before he can say whatever he's going to say, Joel in the audience goes, it just always makes me crack the fuck up every time I think about it.
The guy goes by the name Liberal Penguin, and his real name is David Bishop, and they've been having a fight and have actually now called the police on each other over this stupid shit.
What was the cause of the call, or what instigated the police having to get involved?
Harassment.
Okay.
I believe was what the official charge was. But apparently then David called the cops on Mr. Dapperton in response. I'm like, I don't understand people who take YouTube drama that far, like doxing. How the fuck do you get so mad at somebody you dox them? I just don't understand this shit. Because right after the initial thing blew up, David Bishop is the one who went to Twitter and said to Mr. Dapperton that if he did not take down those videos, he would dox him. So it's not like there's not evidence out there.
Who's David?
He's the Liberal Penguin.
And he's involved in this how?
He's apparently friends with Reese. Reese is Nightmare Fuel's name. Brian Sanders in the chat asked, what's doxing mean? That's when people spread personal information. And Mr. Dapperton's home address was released, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just a little drama going on YouTube. And I really don't understand why people get the... At worst, I mean, he wasn't saying that Reese had even done anything illegal necessarily, because it depends on where you are. And he didn't actually, solicit sex or anything. He just said it was kind of creepy. And to take that to the point where police have to get involved, it might be time to step away from the internet. That's all I'm saying. Just a suggestion.
Do we know how old this guy is?
Which one? The one who did the...
Yeah, the one who went... I mean, so just so I get... The Penguin doxed Dapperton, and Dapperton just called the cops. Dapperton wasn't doing anything to him other than just saying he was creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we know how old the Penguin guy is?
I think he's less than 30. I know he's old enough to have been in the military. He says he still is. I've actually got to talk to him once on a stream, and I had a pretty good conversation with him.
Yeah, I know it's not. I know this kind of behavior isn't limited to like young people or anything, but I'm always just curious. It's like, well, is this someone that has lived long enough to be able to manage, sticks and stones, which should be something that you manage by the time you're like 12. But all the same, it's just I don't get it. You should be able
to manage that definitely if you've been in the fucking military.
Well, today's military, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what the. Yeah.
Do you remember Officer and a Gentleman? The whole point of basic training was to beat you down to build you back up.
Yes.
Into the man you should be. And apparently now it's, at least with David here, that didn't work if they even do that anymore.
Well, maybe he was Air Force and not Army.
And that was Navy, thank you.
Oh, pardon moi.
Yeah. That was naval officer training.
Mm.
What topic do we want to discuss today? Do we have a good topic?
A good topic?
Well, I keep getting told, I mean, maybe we can talk about this. Sort of goes back to, my comments are like crazy today. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I posted it on Twitter, where, here, I'll read it. Someone said, bitch, you use the M word to a black person, and okay, it's really incoherent, but he essentially said that I would get my ass beat if I used the word around a black person. And I don't remember if I actually said in the video, but if I did, I'm pretty sure I was quoting him. I was quoting Bill, but People seem to think that if you just say it in any context, then you're clearly a racist.
Well, did you see the video? I know Bering did a response to it once. There was a guy who said if anybody says that to him, he'd likely punch him, and that's fine, no
In
matter the
any
context. If you say it, and no, that's wrong. If going
in
back to
any situation, I mean,
yeah,
come on. Like even if we're just talking about whether or not you should be able to use the word, can I not say it to talk about it? What if I'm quoting somebody? That's worthy of beating me up, really?
to some people, and I think those people are dumb because
And I've even gotten a couple of
context
comments that are like,
matters.
I'm white, but I bet if you use this around a black person, they would kick your ass. And I'm like, you think that black people are basically like dogs where if you say a trigger word around them, they just go into attack mode?
Some people do, and yeah. I've told you guys before about growing up in a black neighborhood. We all said the phrase "nigger please" constantly, hard R. We all did, and I learned that from black kids who never had a problem with me saying it. There was no issue because I wasn't using it as some insult to their race. It was just it was a way we were just saying "bitch please," but we weren't allowed to say "bitch." And if our moms heard us, any of our moms, they would have beat our ass for that.
Well, it seems similar to me as the whole. There's a great little video out there of Bill Burr on a comedian show or something talking about using the word faggot. In sort of the vernacular of boys talking to boys, not in the sense that you're insulting someone's homosexuality or implying that they are, but it's just sort of don't be a faggot. Don't be, a jerk. Don't be a whatever. It's just another word for something that, it has multiple meanings, but it all depends on the context. If I'm using the word in a context that is not meant to insult, or I'm not trying to hurt your feelings or something else, but just in the matter of just, parlance of the day kind of deal, can you tell the difference? If you can't tell the difference, then maybe the problem is with you, not with the word.
Yeah. And it's not something I run around saying like,
no.
But if I, especially like with us talking about it, there's no reason for a grown man to say N-word unless I'm being ironic. You will never hear me say F word in any kind of serious manner. I'm gonna say fuck because that's what the word is. And you know what? Let me tell y'all something. If you say N-word, everybody knows what fucking word you're talking about.
Right.
You have turned the word into Voldemort from fucking Harry Potter. You can say it. It's not going to bring about the end of the world. I did want to read a comment though from one of my recent videos. The little cartoon video I did, that little 16-second thing.
Which was hilarious.
This is the 16-second cartoon I did yesterday.
Why didn't I see this?
I don't know.
Hold on. Don't talk about it till I watch it.
Oh, it has nothing to do with that. So you can go ahead and watch while I read this comment. This is from Burn the Bible, and I don't remember how I pissed this person off. But
he's pissed off because of me.
Okay.
I pissed him off because when I did my video about how stupid non-binary people are, he started stalking me.
Oh, maybe that's where I know him from mine too, because I know this guy's commented before, girl, whatever the hell it is. Here's the comment. You and your channel is nothing but a bunch of fucking echo chamber retarded fucks. By the way, I don't like what Ice Cube says, but you're a faggot and I don't like you, so kill yourself, bitch, cunt fucker. You anti-SJWs are cancer as fuck. I just love that. Kill yourself, bitch, cunt fucker.
Here, I'll read you out some of the comments he's put on mine. What's it? Tell me what's his actual username? Can you spell it for me?
It's spelled out Burn the Bible XD. Yeah.
I want to hope that it's like a Poe, but I also really hope that it's like a real person.
They have a channel. They actually have a channel.
I know, and it's
I didn't watch any of the videos. The thumbnails are just yeah, but apparently, I mean, if I were thin-skinned, I'd be very scared right now. Instead, I just laughed. I told him to make sure to buy a shirt. That was one of those great times for that. Aubrey in chat, Vegan Gains lost to no bullshit. I would agree with that. No bullshit just kept calling him on his shit. It was so funny. Yeah, I don't really have a topic for tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I had a rough day. I had to do some heavy lifting, which I am no longer apparently built for.
Well,
so let's ask chat. I mean, worst case scenario, they
Oh.
get more.
They
go ahead.
asked me if that was the Cuddy channel. Yes, it's the Cuddy channel.
What's the Cuddy channel?
The Burn the Bible. It's like he has a video where he's like cutting himself or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking weird. Or maybe like counting how many times he's done the cutties. I don't know.
I've got a question, I guess, maybe
Sure.
a topic. How much longer can consoles remain relevant when you can download games through your computer?
I like consoles.
What's the utility of a console, I guess, is maybe that question.
I have Macs and I don't like PCs and I don't like sitting at a computer desk.
You don't have to sit at a computer desk.
I don't know how it works.
Keyboard and mouses now.
Well, I don't want to use a keyboard. It's uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, just most games that you can get on the PC that maybe originated as a console game, you can have a console controller, but just use it with your computer. Why do you need a console?
Because I don't want to get a PC.
Consoles will not go away because consoles are made for people. I don't want to be insulting here. How can I do this without being insulting? Who don't understand that you can buy a computer and update it to the newest spec at any time, play the greatest games out there for a lot cheaper than every time you have to buy a new console. Consoles at this point are basically computers.
Yes. Well, they've always been computers.
I don't know. Yeah. But not like this. I mean, you actually have to download games now.
Yes.
And then you have to update them. And I would, if you want me to buy a console, besides naming it Cunt Puncher or whatever we decided, make me one that you just plug the fucking cartridge in and go.
Yeah.
Because that was the utility of a console. And today they're just really shitty computers.
I also like Nintendo stuff, so.
Yeah, I can see that because and I think Nintendo's making a huge mistake by trying to be so gimmicky. If they want a gimmick, they just go back to a straight cartridge that doesn't need a fucking update. But yeah, they've lost their gimmick status, but people are so afraid of computer gaming. If you go back to computer gaming, say in the 90s, it could be a bitch no matter what game you bought, you could have the top of the line computer and that game might not work because you have a video card in there that doesn't have the right driver for it. Right. And they haven't made the right drive. Most of that shit has been completely gone. They're completely eradicated. There are still bugs, of course, but from my experience with people who insist on buying the latest consoles, it's all a matter of convenience, not realizing it's not actually that convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
I don't necessarily I don't have a Switch yet. I'll probably wait a year or so. Like when the price goes down.
Talik in chat just said, remember the old Can It Run Crisis thing? Yes. Crisis was one of those great games that looked pretty as fuck, but was a shit game. And that should have been made for consoles because that's what consoles are for. A pretty game that's not really fun to play. Just kidding. I like some consoles. Faggots. What are your thoughts on it, Scribbles?
Well, I mean, I have a console, but simply for the utility of it, I can play my DVDs in it, and it allows me to watch like YouTube or Netflix in my living room. So having a peripheral to my television is nothing new because, from the VCR to the DVD player and so on, the fact that it's sort of a combo machine that can, pipe entertainment into my television set, that's the utility that I use it for. I don't use it for games. I have some games for it, but I haven't played a game on my Xbox in years now. Xbox 360.
Thank you, Terry. Donation for being PC Master Race. Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering at what point I was talking about it before, like with graphics, like you're going to hit a ceiling eventually where you can't get them any sharper or better or whatever. When do you hit the ceiling with what a console can do for you? Connect to the internet, download software or games and stuff. I mean, at some point it's gonna hit some kind of plateau, and it's like, how do you justify continually putting out a new console? What can you improve upon if not graphics
Well,
and
that's what it
speed?
is. It's
Yeah.
graphics right now, and there's not much. There's not anywhere else to go with it, and that's the same for computers too. I mean,
Mhm.
they just released or they're getting ready to release the new Intel chip, the i9.
Mhm.
They just released the newest GeForce card, and these are really amazing things that'll let your computer do a lot. But for the most part, for gaming, you don't need that much power. You
Right.
just don't. Somebody in chat just asked, where did it go? I hate when I save it and it moves on me.
Yeah.
People say PCs are expensive. What are your thoughts on that? They can be. They absolutely
Yes.
can be. But you can also build. You can build a computer that can play pretty much any game on the market. You won't be able to put it on the
Mhm.
highest settings, but pretty much any game on the market for less than $400.
Yeah.
For twice that, you can play pretty much any game on the market at max settings.
And it will be good to play those kind of games for years. I mean, like the computer I've got right now, it's an Alienware. I just upgraded after like 5 or 6 years. I wasn't having any problems with my past computer, just like, well, it's time for an upgrade just because it's been several years now. The computer I paid for originally was like just under $1,000. This one I paid just under 1,500. In the time in between where the last computer was and this one has been at least 2.5 generations of consoles. So if you think about games, console itself, peripherals, the TV necessary to play all that stuff, if you look at it from that perspective, my computer has paid for itself 3 times over by that point.
Yeah.
And I haven't done much else, but maybe I think I upgraded the graphics card at one point for like $90 or something. And it's like, okay, and now I can play a whole raft of games better than I could before. It's just economically speaking, easier to just have a computer and peripherally incrementally upgrade it than to continually buy the new console, which is just a box that you can never open up or touch or do anything else to.
Yeah, somebody just said it was Patrick K. Also, PS3 doesn't play PS2 games, etc.
Right.
No such issues on the PC. However, that has changed. There's a lot of games that used to play on my computer that because of Windows 10, I can't play anymore. Microsoft fucked gamers with Windows 10.
There are emulation things you can get to backwards compatible things, and there are a lot of companies like GOG and Steam have seen the value in finding ways to take old games and reformat them so they will operate on modern systems. It's not always the case. You have to really be sure when you're looking after games like on GOG or Steam that are older, like 5 or 10 years old or more. Really check to make sure that it's compatible with Windows 10. I mean, they have been able to retrofit many games to make it work. Some they haven't, so you could be buying a game you can't use, just as a word of warning.
Cryptic, thank you. I own the Switch. I love games on PC, but the Switch has the on-the-go feature, which is great for business trips. I love my Game Boy. To me, that's Game Boy's now the 3DS is more powerful than the Super Nintendo was.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And they've done a lot of great things with it. It's really fun to play with, and I think that's where most of the utility in consoles is going to be, is being portable. But yeah, I just think consoles, especially as they exist right now, you're better off buying just a computer because you can update it whenever you want for a lot cheaper than buying the newest console. The one thing I will say, and it's been mentioned in chat here, is that there are a lot of games that are console only.
Yes, console exclusive, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's, let's be honest, nobody was buying the Switch for anything but Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
And they released Mario Kart, but if you like racing games, there's plenty of those, but you're not going to get Zelda anywhere else. So They better hope they keep that franchise up, because if they don't, BG, you heard it here. Monkey likes to play with himself. I do. My dick is fun.
Monkey dick.
Monkey dick. Patrick K says you can change execution settings in Windows, and many times it will work, letting it run in XP, etc. Yeah, they got rid of the compatibility feature, though.
Right.
It's no longer there when you right click or when you go into properties. It's just not there. A lot of games, like Scribe was talking about, if you're buying from Good Old Games or from Steam and it's an older game, there are a lot of them that aren't working right now, and they are working through it to get them fixed. But
yeah. Excuse me.
Zenith, thank you so much. I think the reason Nintendo went gimmicky was because of the low sales of the GameCube. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, but considering the GameCube was kind of gimmicky itself, that's a really bad choice.
I kind of like the gimmicky thing. At least they're trying.
I wouldn't mind it so much. Like, there is no good reason they can't have more intricate games on the Switch. With the way the controller works, you can literally build what's basically a PlayStation controller or a Xbox controller. So there's no reason you couldn't have something like Modern Warfare on there. They're making a mistake going way too kiddie on some of this stuff.
I actually didn't. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I actually didn't think that the Wii U gamepad was really that gimmicky, because for the most part it just works like a regular controller, and instead of having to pull up the map on a separate screen or having it like really small in the corner, it was just on your gamepad screen.
Yeah, but if you go back one generation, which wasn't even a whole generation, go back to the actual Wii U, or the Wii, just the Wii itself. It was a really interesting concept, the motion controller and all that, but there was such a limited game market for it. There's just not many.
Yeah,
games
no, you're right.
And it bit them in the ass for it. They had people stopped using their Wiis after like a couple of months and never picked them back up again. Sewer Voice says Game Gear was sort of better than Game Boy. Game Gear suffered from the same problem that Sega CD did. It was just too ahead of its time. And there wasn't enough support for it. And at that time, Sega was getting out of the console market anyway. Man, they fucked up so bad. I loved my Genesis. I thought for sure they'd be in it for the long haul.
Genesis was great. Still great.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. One of my favorite games ever was Evander Holyfield boxing on there. I used to love that fucking game.
Yeah, focus on games that are good gameplay. Don't worry about the graphics and everything else. Legend of Zelda, the original Zelda game on Nintendo, is still by itself a great game, and it's not 3D or anything else. It's just got an awesome game.
Thank you, Peter. Peter says, I'll play anything that entertains me, desktop or console, but I prefer consoles. And you can plug an external hard drive into PS4s now. Yeah, you can. And that's kind of the point I was talking about with computers. If you're going to buy a PS4, unless you're buying it for a console exclusive game, you would be better off just buying a computer.
Yeah. I figured the next time I'll buy a console is if somehow they turn off the ability for a 360 to stream Netflix and or YouTube. Like if they just because right now Xbox Live you can have for free. The limited range of Xbox Live services you can have just for free. They did that a few years ago. I was paying a subscription up to that point. And as soon as they said that, I was like, great. That's the only thing I use it for anyway. So fine. I just have basically I have a VCR now again, or a CD player. It's just that it's with Netflix or YouTube or whatever. If they ever stop providing that service for free, or they discontinue the service altogether or something, that's probably when I'd buy a new console to try to get that back, because that's really all I use it for.
Yeah. Colton asks if I have glasses. Yes, I do. I don't wear them very often, though.
Mash says, what's my first game system? First game system, before I had my first Nintendo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we had the IBM PC Junior. which was a IBM computer, which when we first got it had a 180K of memory. And it was all we needed at the time to do like typing up stuff and playing stupid games like Jumpman and weird things like that. But yeah, Nintendo Entertainment System was my first console game system.
Mine was a kind of Pong game. I don't even know what the name of the system was, but that was the only thing on there. You flipped a little switch to turn it on, and you had the little table tennis on your screen.
Yay.
That's how fucking old I am.
Yay.
And I've been addicted ever since. Wow, chat is going kind of fast. I'm trying to keep up here, guys. If I've missed a question, I apologize. And this is your time. So if you have questions, comments, throw it out there. Thank you, Cryptic. Sony and Microsoft are going to a 2-year upgrade model. Now it's more feasible to maintain a PC than buy a $500 console. Now it's more feasible to maintain a PC than buy a $500 console every 2 years. I used to really love consoles, and if you go back to the days when they were $100 and then they went up to $200 when they were brand new, they did serve a purpose. It was so much easier to stick a game in. You knew it was going to work, and you didn't have to wait for anything. Bam, there you go. And now, the first time I turned on an Xbox One and put in a game, I wanted to play Madden. I got it, and I was going to play it. And because of the shitty internet service here, it took almost a full day to download the goddamn update. There's no, you don't even have to update that much on the computer. There's no fucking reason for that. Moonshock says the first NES was $200 and came with the Rob.
Rob the Robot.
Peter asked if I finished the short story yet. Yeah, part 1 is actually linked in the description of this video or the stream, whatever. So if you want to read it, that's where it is. It's not labeled. Monkey didn't label it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did. Okay. Well, it's there.
Well, it's easy to find because it's not labeled.
It's the only one not labeled.
Jacob Licklighter says, any tips for growing a YouTube channel for the casual creator? Interact with your audience.
Yeah. How casual a creator are you? Because that is going to stunt your growth.
Don't suck.
Don't suck.
Practice makes perfect.
I feel weird when people ask me for advice on making videos. I'm like, I don't know, just make a video, don't suck, and nah.
One thing,
consistency, I think. Consistency.
Yeah, right now, YouTube rewards you if you post every day and if your videos are at least 10 minutes long.
Right.
Outside of that, make sure you're commenting and don't spam. Make sure you're commenting on other people's channels in the same genre with something relevant to their video. Do not pimp your channel out.
Yeah.
Just, hey, I really like this, or, I agree with you on this point. Something relevant, and people will start to find you that way. Make sure you're jumping into chats like this.
They said, look at tag and do everything opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. That poor bastard. I can't wait to watch his video. Apparently he has yet another I'm quitting.
Well, yeah, did you see, because he tagged me, Bearing, I think Suit Yourself, Direwolf, and a couple of other people in a thing, and we were all like, what do you want exactly out of this? And he was like, nothing, I just wanted you to see it because I had some things to say because I didn't get to say everything I wanted to say. And Bearing was like, you want to stream? And then he just went silent. It was funny.
Mashishu, thank you. Scribelight, I bet you can't name the first home game system.
The first home game system? You're probably right. It was something. It was like a one-word thing. The Raven? Was it the Raven?
It was the crap.
Tell me, Mash, was it the Raven? And for some reason that popped into my head. If I'm wrong, by all means, tell me what it is. But that's the first thing that popped in my head.
Why did he tag you in that SDA? Are you guys?
You don't
buddies?
know about my history with Tag? Oh, I feel like we're not actually friends.
You didn't you do a stream with him once?
I did. Yeah, I did. And I made a couple videos about him.
After he had his last meltdown?
Yeah. After he had his last melt. I think Bay and I started his last meltdown, actually.
Women was the first home game system.
Hell yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I understand that you streamed with him and you did videos, but lots of people did videos with him. And what actually triggered his last meltdown was somebody bringing up the whole bet thing on a video that he had done that had nothing to do with it.
That was us. That was us. I think. Because it was because Bearing okay, what happened?
I think. Hang on just a second, guys. Squeaky door. You'll get
squeaky
over
door. It. Hello, squeaky door.
You're fine. They'll live. There you go.
I'm not fine.
You'll be fine.
My ears are bleeding.
Yeah, they are.
Sounds like your vagina's bleeding.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to rub some waspness on those hinges to tighten them up.
But that'll make them dry. They'll squeak more.
Oh, yeah, it's squeaky.
He was obsessed with Bearing. He got onto a stream with me and Mara, and then we started asking him, because Bearing was in the chat, about the bet. And then he flipped the fuck out.
Yeah, so many people have done. I just found it weird he tagged you. I think maybe he has a thing for you. You could make him a man.
You are fucking disgusting. What the hell is wrong with you?
What? What's wrong?
Oh my God.
He's a nice guy.
You're disgusting.
Somebody told me I was mean because he made some.
I'm gonna throw up.
He made one of his tweets where he's whining about how people never talk to him, and I simply answered with, "Your life makes me sad." And it's true. He does make me sad. I just want to give him a hug.
Oh,
and
gross. No.
Give him a hug and some candy and tell him to go sit in the corner and just, have some fun. Because he is so sad. So sad. I do feel bad for him.
He diarrheaed over, talked about this on his channel about having diarrhea in his bunk bed above his sister.
Yeah.
Ugh. What's wrong with you?
But that doesn't make him a horrible person.
Yes, it does. The fact that he talked about it on YouTube absolutely does.
No, that makes him that means he doesn't make the best choices in life.
Ugh, gross.
Is anyone else going to play Assassin's Creed Origins? Probably not. I don't get much time to play games anymore. It really saddens me because there are a lot of games I'd like to play. I just don't have time. Who said he's hot?
Fucking nobody.
I'd say he was hot. I just think he's a man. Penguin, thank you. If Tag and Angry aren't the same person, they need to stream together. They are actually not the same person. And if you listen to them, they have different speech impediments. Tag tends to do the more ending something with a TH with an F sound, like math. He's not very good at math. Where Angry MGTOW actually has a lisp.
Oh, so the first video game console was the Odyssey, the Magnavox Odyssey. When I was thinking of the Raven is the first game console that used cartridges that you could interchange in and out. Before that, game consoles had them built in, and you couldn't change them or anything else.
How does Pong not count?
Yeah. Pong isn't a console. Pong's a game.
It was a game console.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Is that when I thought of the Raven, what I was thinking of was the first game console where you had interchangeable games and not games that were built in that you couldn't change.
No, I'm asking how Odyssey counts as the first one instead of Pong.
Oh, was Pong a console unto itself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh. Anyhow. What else you guys got for us tonight?
Did you get Sanguine's donation?
Yes.
Okay.
So someone asked if we would be in Discord after this.
I will be in there for a short time tonight. I am so tired. I actually accidentally fell asleep for a little bit before the stream, and I'm going to get some sleep. Backscan, I will talk to you about this. He's asking me about my issues with the compatibility mode with Windows 10. There's a lot of things that are changing in Windows, and sometimes you don't necessarily see them. Like I've talked many times about wanting to do a video series on how to start your YouTube channel. And I was finally going to do it. Now that I have this new computer and OBS runs with no issues, the only thing is my copy of Windows 10 didn't come with Movie Maker.
Oh.
Like, that's weird. So I went to Microsoft's site to download it. You can't download it anymore. So I actually got on with a representative and asked them, is this just not available anymore? They're updating it. So they, instead of just leaving it up and then updating it, they took it completely down. And I don't know if they're going to make a whole brand new product, but I was told that it will be back out, but it's going to be different. So Brian Sanders, would you at least watch playthroughs of video games on YouTube if you had the time to do so? I'm not a big fan of watching people play games. The one exception has been Player Unknown Battlegrounds. That game is fascinating to me. The only way I'd really watch is if somebody was really, really entertaining.
I like the game.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Nerdstain. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting the up button, the up button. God damn it.
Up button.
The up
The
button.
thumbs up button.
The like button.
The like button helps us out a lot, guys. So if you would do that, I'd appreciate it.
Monkey, have you ever watched the Game Grumps?
I have not.
You might. I don't know if you'll like them or not. You might not, but I think that they're funny at least. They kind of remind me of like maybe if you and Scribe got drunk 10 years ago or something when you were a lot more immature than you are now.
Sweetie, I'm as immature as I ever was.
Yeah, I was about to say.
The one ton hammer says, I have Windows Movie Maker on my Windows 10 PC. Yes, my laptop still has Movie Maker. They didn't pull it from everybody who had it, but if you uninstall that and try to download it again, you won't be able to. Backscan. Okay, sorry for bugging your PC problems to me are like the word nigger to an SJW. I believe me, I'm like that myself. One of the reasons that I even brought that up is I've recently started downloading my Steam library into my new computer, and so many games I can play, and that's the only way I even became aware of the fact that compatibility mode is not even fucking there.
Mm-hmm.
Communist in Space. Oh, there's some new YouTube news I forgot to mention. Communist in Space. I don't know what I did to this guy. I've apparently upset him with communism somehow. And anytime he sees me, he demands a debate. So I finally said, okay, fuck it, we'll debate.
Yay!
I believe it's next. We might need to change the date and time on that, dude. My family's leaving next weekend, and I thought they were leaving Saturday, but they're not leaving until Sunday. And we'd scheduled it for Saturday, but we might have to change that. But me and him will be debating about North Korea.
Ooh, do you need a moderator?
I prefer.
You're not an impartial moderator, Scribe.
Okay.
I think Scribe could be impartial.
Not to you. You guys are friends.
I think he could still be impartial.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like that from the other side, and just an optics thing.
Anyhow, I would prefer just a one-on-one. That's what I prefer. I prefer a talk more than an actual debate. But he had said Movie Maker is garbage. Movie Maker is not garbage. It's very limited in what it can do, but it can make a lot of really good stuff if you know what you're doing with it. It just has very limited functionality. Get Jeff Holiday.
Yeah,
it's not going to be that kind of debate. We are not going to be bringing up, that's for a formal structured debate, and that's not what this is going to be. If it turns into us yelling at each other, that's just better for the audience. SDA could be a moderator. She hates everybody equally. That's funny.
I don't hate people.
You hate.
I just hate commies.
Janik says, you and I can debate about the Nazi party. See, this is one of the reasons I did not want to agree. And I know that was a joke there. Sorry, but I didn't want to agree with this because I don't want to encourage that behavior. Because if you just follow me around demanding me talk to you, it's not going to happen.
Talk to me.
One of the reasons I agreed to this is, one, I've been assured that he's actually a nice guy. And when commies aren't, we're not talking about communism, I've found that to be true. And he never gets offended no matter what shit I say to him, which means a lot to me. I prefer people who don't get pissy because I make a joke at their expense. But he's a nice guy. Moonshock asked me if says he knows I Premiere. Did I get the whole suite or just Premiere and possibly Photoshop? I did finally get the whole suite. I'm working my way through learning them, but I'm still learning Premiere, so it'll be a while before I'm doing it. I just wanted to update my Photoshop, and it was cheaper to do the whole suite than the two programs individually. You like people who joke back. I do. I like somebody who makes jokes. And I mean, if you're going to make fun of me, make it funny. But yeah, I have no problem with that. You guys are really quiet over there.
I'm always quiet. It's Scribe that's quiet.
This is true.
What's wrong with you, Scribe?
Oh.
How much time do you have?
I think she was pulling a you because you do that to her.
It's true. I was thinking on the next time that I host the stream, SDA, we might talk about, when we get to the deep topic section of things, we might talk about cults. What do you think about that?
Oh,
okay.
We can talk about Jim Jones for real, Zizio, and other things, because there's a lot of interesting organizations, past and present, out there. And so if you want to make some notes on some cults you want to talk about or anything else, and then we can talk about those next time.
Okay.
Which will be, is that Tuesday for me? Because tomorrow's SDA, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay, yes. So Tuesday night stream, we can talk about
We can talk about off stream the cults specifically that we want to talk about, and I'll like brush up on them, because
yeah, I've got my cults book. It's just like this book I got at the used bookstore that gives mini profiles of a whole bunch of cults throughout history and in the modern
just send me the names of some of the ones that you want me to know stuff, because I know stuff about a ton of cults, but
no, just bring to the table the ones you know about, and we'll just talk back and forth and see what we know.
Okay.
Yeah, no need to prep so much. Just the ones that you find interesting.
I like prepping for cults. I like cults.
Well, just
Irate Prostate. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Irate Prostate asked if I'm going to be on Discord during the day tomorrow. Probably not. If I am, it'll be very, very early. I have little butt most of the day tomorrow.
Monkey butt.
Well, I have her all day, but there will be times Lady Monkey's around too, but didn't want to make it sound like I just kick her out the door for a few minutes. Guys, we're gonna do last call because I'm exhausted and Scribe just started yawning. He's gonna get
I'm
me
yawning
again.
too.
You fuckers.
Oh, I'm not. I was just trying to breathe through, not coughing. It's like sort of like taking sort of a very shallow breath. But I mean, if you're tired, yeah, by all means.
I mean, I'm not going to bed for like another 5 hours, but I'm tired.
Well, I still want to hit Discord for a little bit before I go to bed tonight. So we'll do last call. If you guys give us good questions, we might go all the way till 11. But if not, we'll be wrapping this up here real soon. Tomorrow we are on SDA's channel, and I don't think there was anything else I was going to say there. My mind just took me to the wrong spot. Oh, First Cynic, you asked that earlier. I'm sorry, I missed it. Thoughts on today's Puerto Rico statehood vote? I didn't know they were voting.
How did it turn out?
It's mostly symbolic, if I'm not mistaken, because they can't really.
What porn does SDA watch? None of your fucking business. That's what.
So
she
real
watches
quick,
all the porn.
Puerto Rico voted overwhelmingly in favor of statehood on Sunday in a referendum that begins the steps towards sending representatives to Washington, D.C. But it doesn't mean anything. It's kind of a whole process has to go beyond just Puerto Rico saying they want to be a state before they could be a state.
You know, I have a feeling, I think we talked about this like way back when we first started streaming.
Yeah, I brought it up way back when. Yeah.
And I'm just going to, since we have a much bigger audience right now, I'm just going to say what I said then. The reason why they want to be a state is because they're falling apart. And letting them become a state now is fucking stupid because they are just a money pit. So, like, before they went bankrupt and everything, I would have been fine with them becoming a state, but now they're just becoming a state to avoid financial ruin.
Yeah, they've taken this vote many times and it's always failed, and it wasn't until they fell into horrible, dire straits that they decided, oh yeah, we want the US's money.
Yeah, so no, fuck off.
Fix your shit and then try again.
Yeah, because like I said, they voted on this before when they weren't, when they weren't in this financial situation, and they said no. So
First Cynic said yes, but this vote is the first step. Congress wouldn't go ahead without it. They're not going to go ahead with it because of they are only doing this because of how much they fucked their economy.
Yeah, it's like, Nerdstain said it pretty accurately. If they can't pay their own bills, it's like marrying someone who's in a ton of debt. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Except it's like a 51-person orgy.
Oh, finally, I am surprised more vegans didn't show up tonight. There's one in there now.
Where?
Discortelligent?
Oh, can you explain how veganism is a cult? Because y'all be fucking cray-cray. Basically what happens, right, is that you're all a bunch of fucking lettuce munchers, and then you get hungry, and then you get crazy. Have a Snickers.
Have a Snickers, yeah. Is veganism an official cult? No, but it is a religion for way too many people. When you are making an argument about morality, in the sense that Ask Yourself actually says that if you can't argue against veganism, you have a moral responsibility not to eat meat. Go fuck yourself. Preach that shit to someone else. And I am saying preach on purpose. You're a crazy cultist.
Yeah, I used to be a vegan. I have a vegan tattoo.
I have no problem with people who are vegan, and I don't even care if they want to tell people that they think it's a better way of living. That's fine. But when you start preaching that I have to live by your rules, go fuck yourself. Do y'all know who Jordan Peterson is? I am a huge fan of Jordan Peterson.
I fucking love Jordan Peterson.
I have not watched his new religious series, and I really want to, because he does not strike you as the kind of person who would be religious, but he really is. And I love the way his mind thinks. So I want to see how he, being the logical man he is, how he reconciles religion with being rational.
Is he religious?
Yeah, he's a Christian. Oh. You okay over there?
I feel perfectly fine. It's just that this cough, this one little bit left of congestion, is just not going away as quickly as I would hope.
Wait.
So I'm still.
Sorry.
Okay.
What'd you say? Wait to?
What's with Smash flipping out about in the chat about Markiplier and Jack? What's going on?
I don't know.
Okay. So, the reason we got an answer, the reason vegans want you to live like they do is because it's an ethical issue. Yeah, because they think that a cow is a human, and they think that because retarded people are retarded, that means that we think that we should be able to eat them too, because vegans are stupid and they're not thinking straight because they're fucking hungry. So, what are you gonna do?
Scribe Light, do you still have a lung?
I've got at least 2 that I know of, though. At least one of them is released. Well, no, it's not my lung; it's my throat. Just I don't know. It's got this still got this catch in there that's not going away, and I don't know what else to do about it.
Okay. We were just told that misses the point completely. I'm going to wrap this up with a little vegan rant for you here.
Okay.
I understand your guys' argument about what is applied to a human that comes from an animal, which makes it so it would be okay to eat them. It's a dumbass argument because you are never, ever going to make a person the same as a cow. There is nothing wrong with humans eating meat. There's nothing wrong with killing animals to eat meat. It is part of the food chain. And no, this isn't might makes right. It's the fucking food chain. There's no comparison between animals and people. If you think that because one human has lower intelligence than, say, a cow, that you shouldn't be able to eat a cow, then you're just wrong. Unless you're going to also like invite that cow to live in your house or force the retarded person to live in a fucking barn. You cannot take selective fucking morality and try to push it on other people. Either you need to live your entire conviction, which would mean going out there and living off fucking dirt, or you need to stop telling other people how to live their fucking lives. You're wrong, period. And on that note, chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Guys who donated, I love you. I love all of you. Thank you for hitting that like button. It really does help us out. Scribe SDA, thank you as always. Love you too. Everyone, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.